Is that a New Kids on the Block t-shirt you're wearing?
You bet your balls it is.
Jordan says hi. Welcome back, Wonder Bunnies. Today we are hitting the garden. It's gardening season and we're going to take our art to the outdoors. A garden. We're going to make some garden markers for the garden. We're going to take some run-of-the-mill tongue depressors and we're going to pop them onto our gel plates, get some gorgeous art. We're going to seal it waterproof and we're going to jam it in our gardens. Boom. That's why I'm dressed for the outdoors, because we're going to go out there at the end of this and put my sticks in the garden. On a side note, Ontario has gone back to chilly weathers, hence the sweater. The scarf is just for razzle dazzle. The hat is for outside, and it's just awesome. And my hair looks poop underneath. So I'm going to do this video in 3 parts, and I'll tell you what you need at the beginning of each part, so it's not some massive overwhelming list right now, like of everything you need. I've also made a Google Doc, which is in the description, and you can download that, which will have everything you need, like a little checklist and instructions for each part. So the first part is going to be the art. The second part is putting text over your art. The third part is waterproofing or water resisting, because truth be told, I don't know if my techniques are fully going to waterproof the wooden stakes, because I haven't let them sit out in the elements long enough. I was too excited to come and make this video for you. And I don't want to like test it all summer and then give you this video and in the fall when you can't even use it. You gotta wait. So let's get into it. Let's get into some gel plate garden markers. You can even look at that Google Doc before you hit all these parts, just so it gives you a little, it's like foreshadowing to the video. You can look at the Google document and see what we're going to be doing and all the goodies you're going to need. Okay, I feel like I'm just going to keep blah, 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 and I don't want this video to be super dupes long. I always say that and they always end up being long. Let's start with part 1, the art. I know I mentioned that I have a Google Doc for you to print out with everything you'll need, but I'll just quickly go through in each step as well. So for step 1, for the art step, you will need some paint because you're going to get all your layers down. And today I'm using white and the primaries. So I have alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, and cad yellow, plus a little fluorescent red to jazz things up a smidgeroo. I have some scrap paper right here under my brayer. You'll need a brayer, a gel plate, and I'm using 8x10 because it will fit all of my garden markers on at the same time. And I'm using standard size that gets jammed down your throat at the doctor's office, and a larger size, which is good for larger text that you put on. It'll squish on there a little nicer than it will on here. And then I have some stencils for texture and, you know, fun imagery. Are we ready? Let's mark up these sticks. Okay, I'm going to start with a base layer. I'm just going to chuck some white down. This is just going to kind of help seal your wood. It helps the other colors adhere. I tried doing it all on raw, and it was just it didn't pick up all the color. So when I tried it with a nice little base layer, it definitely helps pick it up way more. Right, now I'm going to just pop them all in, or on rather. So you don't have to press super duper hard, but I do give them a slightly firmer press than I would with paper. And we are almost there, and we can pull. Okay, there we go. Wow, isn't that exciting? Just a nice base layer of white. Okay, now I'm going to just pick any leftover paint there up. So now I'm just going to start building up the color layers. This is all you have to do, is you're just going to have fun. I'm going to do a little blue, add some white in there. I'm actually going to mix with the palette knife because I don't know if you can tell from the, my blue paint's a little chunky. That's because I had my paints in storage for a while, moving between houses, and they froze and thawed and froze and thawed and did all that, and they weren't too happy about that. So I'm gonna roll it out. Now I'm gonna throw a stencil in here. Grab ourselves some texture, and I am going to use the ghost print. Not that. I just find the sticks go on a little nicer onto the ghost print than on top of a stencil. They don't pick up as well. But I mean, gosh, you gotta give that a try, right? Gel plate is all about the unknown and experimentation. I'm gonna get them on. Hope y'all guys fit. Y'all guys, hope y'all guys fit. I'm gonna move it around just to get a variety of different patterns. Also, you can do both sides. So just for the sake of brevity, I'm only doing one side for y'all. But yeah, totally coat both sides if you want to. And then you have your garden markers are gorgeous from whatever angle you're in your garden looking at. Oh my gosh, I'm having a real tongue twister kind of day, so please forgive me. My brain isn't working. There we go. So we're getting there. We're getting layers. Okay, let's pull them off. I like pulling them off. It's kind of satisfying, like ASMR. It's like squishy sounding. Oh, that one didn't really do it. Okay. So these already look pretty rad. Let me move this out of the way just to show you the first layer. I actually really like that. But I'm not going to fall too much in love with it because we're going to cover it up. I'm going to pull some of this wet paint. Look at this scrap piece of paper. It's awesome. I don't even want to wreck that either. Now let's make up, or should we make some pink? Let's get a little pink in there. Well, that's just a little too much red, but that's okay. Get some white in there. I'm mixing with the palette knife today just because I don't know. I feel like it's a little faster instead of having to wipe up all the goo that collects in my brayer. But you can totally blend this directly on your plate, directly with your brayer. Get real direct. And roll. Let's get these on. I'm going to go a different way this time. And you could always stick some off the edge, you know, like you don't have to cover the entire stick. You could just do it in patches, little sections. I'll do that for the next one, the next layer maybe. Okay, here we go. Well, let's see if I can get that little squishy pull sound. Yeah, I don't know how much that comes through on the mic, but it's satisfying. We're going to pick up some excess so don't muddy the paint too much. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So I'm not going to use the cornstarch till the end, but I mean, you can totally use it whenever you want. It's going to, at the end, we're going to have a layer that covers everything. And we're going to use the cornstarch to bring the background through. We just want the final layer to, we want our text to be easy to read. So it's going to just kind of cover everything and not be busy. Like if your design gets super busy, then your text is going to be very hard to read, darling. So let's keep going here. You know what? An orange. A little orangey color. No. Green. Green, baby. Green. Wait, I like my green with a lot of yellow, so. My yellow's chunky, too. These paints are, they've been through the ringer. Poor things. Poor things. They really went through it. I'm going to add a little more yellow to that because that's like the color of my daughter's knees when she gets home from school. Grass stain. Okay, I'm adding a bit of white. I just went too blue heavy on that and it's gone too dark. We'll call that good. Having a nice, kind of a nice little shade of green. I'm going to utilize a different stencil now. for variety. Okay, stick these on. I'm going to go a different way again. This way. Maybe I'll get, no wait, they all got to fit, so I should get the big guys on first. There. Can you fit that way? Nah, whatever. Squish, squish, squish. These work really well if your layer is a little thin or, you know, starting to dry fast. These sticks are actually, because of the density, I suppose, they just pull really nice after if you let them dry on there a bit. I don't know. It's science, and I'm not a scientist. Let's see what we got. Okay, we're getting there. I think it's the next layer is going to be a little bit of neon red, because we need to liven this up a bit. It's feeling a little flat. I won't build up too many more layers because, like I said earlier, mentioned brevity. Because we have a couple other steps to do, I don't want this video going on for days. It could go on just for days and days. Okay, fluorescent red. I'm borrowing this from my daughter's stash of paint. Hope she doesn't mind. Oh, so beautiful. Of all the fluorescents, fluorescent red is my favorite. Do you have a favorite fluorescent? Or are you just looking at this and saying it's absolutely gaudy? Nobody needs fluorescent in their life. To each their own, my beauty. Here we go. Let's get some brights. Pop you guys on. Do. Where are you going to fit? Right here. Okay. Squish, squish, squish. I'm probably over squishing, but I do like the feel of it. It's like pushing into Jell-O. Bleh, 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 bleh. That's probably good. Now that's just too much fluorescent. What is it? Is it? Don't worry, we'll get another layer going in there. I can tell you're worried. I can tell. So, you're saying you've just neoned it up way too much, girl. Let's get some yellow in here. It's going to make the neon go a little orangey. Also going to throw in another stencil because why not? This one. Just get a variety of different textures underneath. Your garden is going to love these, you guys. I mean, nature is the best artist ever, but sometimes she needs a little break and you're like, you know what, let me help you out. I like to create too, so we're going to share. We're going to collab. You make the beautiful plants, flowers, herbs, veg, fruit, and I'll make some beautiful markers. Okay, there. That's calming. I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell? Can you tell? It's calming the neon down a little. I'm sorry if I sound real stuffy because, and if I sniffle, I apologize. But all that beautiful nature, it's making me sneeze. There's a lot of pollen happening out there. Okay, these are looking sweet. Do you know what? I was gonna do another layer because I'm like, do I do another layer? I think I will. I'm gonna do a little bit more blue, like really light. Do I? Okay, you know what? We're taking chances. Because like I try to be quick. I don't want the video to be long, and then I get all addicted to making layers. Oh, that's just too much white. I'm sure of it. It's like I just want to keep going. Okay, I'm going to scrape some of that off because I've decided not to cover the entire plate because, like I said earlier, you don't have to cover the entire marker. So we'll do that and just get bits of blue. And I am going to do another stencil as well. because I don't want it to be a solid blue landing on the layers I currently have. So the stencils will help. Here we go. If we just pick up, see if I put that on a corner, I'm not going to get anything. Like I can have a full. But this is a good stencil too because there's a lot of white space. So it's going to get, there's going to be patches anyways. So I don't really need to stick it off the edges. But you know, we're doing it. There we go. That's good. Actually, I'm going to pick up some more. So you could do that too. Patches. The reason I put them all on at once is because, you know, gel plate or paint on the gel plate dries so fast. And it saves you a bit of time, you know, get them all done in one go. This is great. This is a perfect way to move on to our final layer. And then on to the next steps, your text step. I'm not going to worry about the stencil still being there because when we do our final layer, if it picks up more, then all the better. So here we go. Let me show you a couple of them. Looking all right. Looking good. Okay. The final layer, I'm going to do a pale yellow, I think. I could do just white, but let's do pale yellow. Just a little bit of yellow. This is where I'm going to put the cornstarch because I mentioned that you don't want to block out, sorry, you are going to block it with this layer. It will cover everything, right? But you want some of all your hard work, all your hard, beautiful work, you want that to come through. So the cornstarch will let that happen. Our little window. Okay, let's roll that out. We've got our soft little lemon yellow, and we are going to be generous with the cornstarch because I want a lot of windows. Maybe a little more here. Cornstarch is going to dry that paint faster than the paint would do it on its own. Here we go. So if the cornstarch, because it does help the paint dry a little quicker, you can always leave these. Like I mentioned before, let them sit on the plate to dry. The paint is warping the wood already, all the dampness. Like I can see it, it's sitting up. You see that? It's like bong, 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 like a little seesaw. So, well, let's take it off. Okay. Now, let's move this filthy disaster, and together we shall reveal what lies beneath the cornstarch. Okay, let's see how they look. Oh, come on, they're gorgeous. Look at that. Glad I went with the lemon yellow. Quite like it. Sorry, let me hold that better for you. This one's too big to just holding the camera close up. That one maybe, I mean, could have used a little more paint down here because the text might not show up as well. But whatever, we'll call that the bottom. I'll do dill on this one or something. And you're going to want a contrasting paint for the text standing out. So I'm going to use black, but you can use any, I mean, if you're doing lighter colors, you can use any dark paint you want. But today I shall be using black. Et voila, part one finished. We have our artwork laid down. We're going to let it dry, which is like essentially doing that right now. It takes no time at all to dry. And I'm going to set up for part two, the text. I'll see you there. Okay, here we go. Part two. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to put text on here. And if you come up with any other ways, please share in the comments because it's always good to share fabulous ideas. I'm not going to demonstrate the first one because it's pretty self-explanatory and that is just writing it on. with your hand. You'll want to use something that is not water soluble. You don't want it to smudge. So use an acrylic paint pen or a Sharpie, something like that, something permanent, something that's not going to wipe off. And that's it. That's the first technique right there. Second technique is stamping it on with a stencil. So this is a little bit time consuming because you're going to have to do each letter individually, but I mean, at least they're all right here waiting for you. So I didn't really go through everything you're going to need. So I'm going to use black paint. It will make the text stand out better. Black paint, a little sponge, makeup sponge, or you can get those little foam dabbers, you know, for scrapbooking and things like that. Just something to dab, dibby dab on. Stencil, spongy, and paint. And the brayer to roll out your paint. And the third technique is individual little letters. Now, these are just little wooden letters I found at the dollar store. Maybe you can find foam ones, plastic ones. You can cut them out of paper if you're feeling like you want something to do, or cardstock or something. But anyway, so these are just individual little letters. This will go directly on the plate. So stencils don't involve the plate at all. You're just gonna do it on the stick alone. But these guys will go on the plate. So this is a bit finicky, this technique, because you have to be kind of quick, right? Because we all know how fast the paint dries. But we'll get to that when we get to those letters. Let's get on to the stencil. Let's start with that. I am just going to do one because that's going to give you a pretty good idea. If I do them all, we'll be here all day, right? So I'll just do one as a demonstration. And I want to say, because I'm working with letters, if this appears backwards for you, or sorry, upside down for you, it's because I had to flip my clip during editing, because sometimes the camera angle is a little funky and it looks like a little hill. So that's just a little caveat right there. If everything is upside down for you, I apologize. But when this is done, I'll flip it both ways, you know, just so you can say. And that's me as a filmmaker right there. So what we do is grab a little stencil. I grabbed this is one of the longer ones. So let's do lavender. And I'm going to start pretty near the top. I'm also not measuring. Like, I don't care if it's in the center or not. I don't care if the L is here and the A ends up, you know, slightly askew. This is handmade, baby. The mistakes are what give it character, what make it what it is. You don't want to use too much paint, because if you use too much paint, it squishes under the stencil and just doesn't look very good. So I'm going to take a little dab on my spongeroonie here, and then scrap paper. I'm going to just dab some off. You can always go back for a little more, but start with less. This is all you're going to do. This is all you are going to do, my sweet cakes. Dab, dab, dibbity dab, dibbity dibbity dab. And lift. Got ourselves an L. Now, in case it's upside down, we'll flip it this way. There we go. Call me the next Spielberg, y'all. Now we'll do the A. I can kind of measure through the A here. I can see the bottom of the L. The only thing I care about measuring is just so it doesn't overlap. So I can see the L, I get there. The bottom of the L's peeking through, move it down a bit. There we go. And also because it's a long word, I want to squish them as close together as I can so I don't run out of room. That was not enough paint. So dab, 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 dab. You know what I need to do as the next Spielberg is get multiple cameras. So I have different angles so you can see. So my hand, my big old hand isn't just blocking your view here. I'm trying to hold this down. But I mean, you would totally know what I'm doing. I'm just dabbing paint through a letter. We got ourselves an A. Let it dry a smidgeroo because you don't want to smudge your colors or smudge your paint. Oh my God, I told you. It's a tongue twister day today. Brain twister. My brain just doesn't want to function. So I use the paint that's on my scrap paper from previous dabbings. Boop, boop. Look at this. We're getting somewhere. I'll just speed up the rest of this because you totally get the idea. And there we have lavender. Let me Spielberg it for you. There we go. Movie magic. There's our Stampy Stamp stencil version. You can see how it looks pretty fabulous over that background that we made. And we're going to now put this aside to dry, and I'll show you individual letters on the gel plate. Let's go. I'm just going to do one again for the individual letters because you'll get the idea. And what you need to do, what you need to remember is that everything will be backwards. So a good tip is to lay out your word in advance of putting the paint down so that it's ready to pop on, because again, the paint dries so fast. So I've got chives written out here, ready to go backwards. And I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on the plate. I don't need a lot because it's more to take off. You definitely want some scrap paper on hand for this. So I'm just going to brayer that out, roll it, roll it, roll it till it's even. This is going to be a little annoying, to be honest, to pop these down. But it does look kind of cool. I'm keeping them close together because I want to make sure they're all going to fit on this guy. So I'm going to give them a little press down. Now, scrap piece of paper, you want to pick up all this excess. Otherwise, you're going to cover your entire marker and all that gorgeousness is going to be gone. So let's pick that up. A little around the edges of the letters is okay. It's going to look cool. Trust me, it looks really neat. You'll see in a minute. But all that other stuff you want to get up. So you just kind of have to feel around the letters, try not to shift them. Luckily the gel plate sticks them down pretty well. Kind of feel around the edges. It's going to be in between the letters. But like I said, that is going to look really cool. You'll see. Let's take them off gently. Wait till you see how this looks when we pull it up. With that little bit of paint between the letters. Give it a press. If you need to, if you think your paint dried a little, just let it sit. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. It can sit. Letting it sit longer is not going to hurt it. Pulling it up too soon, well, that might hurt it because you might lose your letter. Pull. Et voila. Chives. It looks kind of like, to me, when it has the black paint between, it has a real graffiti style to it. And it didn't all fully pull, which I kind of like. It adds to the graffiti style. Sorry, I got to do this whole is it upside down situation thing, just in case. We are going to be done with the gel plate now and the paint, and we're going to move on to sealing them. The sealing stage, which is completely optional. You don't have to do this. You can always leave them raw and naked. Scandalous. They're more ephemeral that way. Because you're putting it outside in the dirt, they will get eaten away, right, by rain and moisture and bird poo and all that good stuff. But I will show you a couple techniques I tried out that should help resist the elements. The first one is your standard polyurethane. I'm using a water-based one, so it's not as nasty to the environment. And the thing is, it takes a couple more coats with the water-based, but it's totally fine. Both these techniques take a little bit of time, but you know, handmade things, and it's worth it. It's worth the time it takes to create something. So you are going to need the clear stuff. This is crystal clear, non-yoling exterior. And I'm going to I'll do one of them in the polyurethane and the other one in the other technique, resin. We're going to resin it. So what you need is your polyurethane, little stir stick, never shake it. Baby, never shake this stuff because you're going to get bubbles. Nobody wants bubbles. Definitely gloves. And in a well-vented area. Make sure you got a window open. So I'm going to give this a little stirry stir, and They recommend 3 to 4 layers to, fully coat this and waterproof it. And with a drying time of like 2 to 3 hours between coats. I mean, that's what they recommend. But the good thing is I did a test drive and I would coat this and it's tiny, right? I mean, it's small, it's thin. It did not take 2 to 3 hours to dry. So you want to make sure you can test it. If you want to touch it, you want to make sure it's not tacky. Oh, it's so tacky, darling. You don't want tacky. And you'll feel it's nice and dry. But like I said, it didn't take that long to dry. So I kind of cheated and I didn't wait full on. I think it was like half an hour, if that it was dry. So I just went ahead and did the other side. I did do 3 coats. I did their minimum. I did 3 coats. Just do it like I did and do test drives and see what happens. We are stirred up in the video. I'm not going to do both sides because doing one side, you totally get the pick, right? So move this over. What I did do is I started up here, and as that was, oh shite, it's not dry enough. Let my mistake, my error, be a lesson to you to let your paint layer dry maybe overnight, okay? Because I just jumped right on in. When I did my test run, they definitely waited overnight. I didn't have this problem. So this is good. The mistakes are a good thing because we learn from them. So I'm going to just continue coating that. Whoop. Definitely let your text layer dry overnight and then pop your polyurethane on. This is kind of good, because perfect doesn't exist. I'm going to just do the edges. The cool thing is, in my test run, they turned out. So I'm going to show you when I'm done the resin technique. I'll show you the ones that I finished and didn't smudge. The ones that didn't smudge. I'm going to put this aside to dry, and I'm not going to show you the other side because it's the exact same as this side. I'll just put another coat on this side, let that dry, come back, do another coat on this, and I'll do that like 3 times per side. So that's for the polyurethane. We'll move on to resin now, and then I'll show you the set that I made while doing the test run without the paint smudging. Here we go with the resin technique. This one I really like because it coats it with a nice sexy sweet shine on the surface. You are going to need your markers, parchment paper to protect your surface, UV resin and the UV light, gloves, definitely wear gloves, kind of like the polyurethane, you're going to want gloves for this stuff. And you are going to need something to spread it with. So I suggest silicone based because you don't want, now I've tried it with brushes, but it can't be a brush that you like because it has to be disposable. This resin will destroy your brushes. This will clean off much easier, just can peel off or pick off once it's cured. This is a catalyst brush, but you can actually get silicone brushes. You can use them for, I think you can get them for pottery and for nail painting. You can find all these things. If you look on Amazon, again, of course, Amazon. So that's what you'll need for resining. And again, I'm just going to do the one, and I won't do both sides because it's the same for both sides. I'll just show you how to coat it on there. This is a little faster than the polyurethane because you only need 1 coat. You can do multiple coats if you want. Sometimes the spreading doesn't go over evenly and maybe you want to fill that in. And the same with the polyurethane, you don't want to shake this and you don't want to overbrush because that will cause bubbles. Okay, let's get into it. While I'm gloving up, I'll tell you, you should also work in a well-ventilated, well-ventilated area for resin as well. And don't work in direct sunlight. I have a little bit of sunlight coming through, but it's okay. But the UV and the sun will cure your resin. So you can cure this outside if you don't have a light, but you have to, watch out for bits floating in, like little bits of grass and dirt and bugs. Poor little guys getting stuck in the resin. And it will take much longer. So it has to sit out in the sun for like hours to cure. So instead, we use the magical little light. And a side note, my light is tiny. The one that comes with the set is tiny and it doesn't fit over the whole thing. So once we get to the curing stage, I'll let you know, but I do have to do a couple goes over this, but that's for later. I'm just going to start with a little bit, because you can always go more. A little goes a long way with this stuff, I find. Is very goopy. So I'm going to take the catalyst brush and I'm just going to spread. Actually, it'll be easier if I do this towards me. Pull it down. You want to coat all the areas. No dang, do that to me with the knife when I'm oblivious. Oops, a little text just came through. A little mighty boosh text. So a little is going quite a long way here, which is nice. Voila! The resin is on. So now I'm going to put it under the UV light to cure it. The UV light that comes with the kit that I bought is USB powered, and it will only work while plugged in. This one has 3 settings, so it has 60 seconds, 90 seconds, or 150 seconds. I go max. I do this in 3 parts. Like I'll go 1, move it down 2, 3, and I do the 2.5 minutes per section. So you're looking at maybe like 15 minutes max to cure one side. Then you're gonna have to flip it, do the resin just like I did with this, put it on, spread it out, and then do 15 minutes for that side. And that should be it. You'll know it's cured when it's shiny. Like a cured resin should be glossy and smooth, and it will resist fingerprints. If it feels soft or tacky, then you want to pop it under the light again. So here we go. I'm going to pop it under for 1, 2, 3. We got 2.5 minutes. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you sit here for 2.5 minutes. I'm just going to move it down. You're not going to have to watch this whole thing. Don't worry. Let's just turn the light back on. And there we go. So I'm going to do the middle section now, and then I will just shift it down and do the end. I will test it for tackiness and then flip it and do the back. That's it. That's it for sealing it. Okay, so let me grab the other markers and then we will go make my herb garden smile. All right, here they are. These are the ones I did for the test run before I made this video to share it with you guys, and they turned out really nice. I'm quite happy with them. Let's go pop these guys into the garden and let the rains rain on them. So here we are out in my teeny matchbox garden, right by my brand new little herb trough. Let's have a peek at what the markers look like in the dirt. All right, here we go. We got the forest of dill, sage, what do we got over here? Lemon balm, and 2 types of basil, however you want to say it, chives in the that graffiti style, and we have our thyme, which is also the graffiti style. Got my bay laurel, chamomile, you're blocking it, there you go, and my daughter's lavender. They look pretty lovely in there. Okay, so that's it. That's it for garden markers in the garden. Let me know in the comments if you give this a try, or if it sounds really fun and exciting to try, or fun and new to try anyway. All right, signing off now. I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Ciao.